I'm going to talk about transforming our relationships. I was reading this report on relationships in the 21st century, and this was the conclusion the report came to. Basically, if we improve our relationships, we will have longer and happier lives. Did we really need research to tell us that? Do we need a big report to tell us that? I think we know that instinctively. We also know that most of our troubles in life walk on two legs and talk back. And this is where our human relations is always an issue. So think about your schooling. When you're at high school, did you have classes on how to get on with your classmates? When you're in university, did you have classes on how to get on with different types of people? When you were in the workplace, did you have classes on how to get on with your colleagues? Well, no, we didn't have any classes. So we're all wandering around as amateurs trying to work it out by ourselves. But one thing we do know, things should change. Now, when we say things should change, what we really mean is everybody else should change, and I am going to stay exactly the same as I am now. And of course, that's not going to work, is it? So I think Gandhi had some great advice for us here. Become the change you wish to see in the world. What he's talking about there is we change first. We decide to make the change, and that will change everything. Now, you've probably studied Newtonian physics when you're at school. I certainly did. I remember this: for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And I thought at the time, totally useless. I'll never be able to use that. But what an interesting idea. If we think about transforming relationships, Newtonian physics gives us leverage to do that. What do I mean by that? Well, we're approaching people in the same way all the time. And therefore, we're getting the same reaction all the time. If we change the angle a few degrees, we're going to get a different type of reaction. So wouldn't it be good if there was a guidebook or some principles or something to help us work this out? Dale Carnegie in the 1920s came up with some human relations principles based on his research to help us get on better together. And the sad thing is, these principles still work today as well as they did 100 years ago. Why sad? Well, you would think with all of our knowledge and all of our advancement, we would be better with each other, and we would have benefited from those principles, and we'd be doing a better job today. Well, we still have some way to go. The principles give us a guide. So let's have a look at some of them. The first one, don't criticize others. When we criticize others, what do? Do they say, oh, thank you for pointing that out. Oh, yeah, that's a great insight. I didn't realize that. Oh, great feedback. Thank you. No. They're in denial. They're arguing with us. Some people get defensive, and other people have worked out the best defense is an offense, and they start attacking us. What do? We become defensive too. So it turns into a total argument. No one's getting anywhere. Relationships are being broken. That's not what we want. What can we do about it? Well, first thing, don't argue with people and don't criticize people. Second thing is, if you want to refer to an error or a problem, then talk about your own mistakes first. And tell them indirectly. Refer to the problem indirectly, so there's not that confrontation that's going to explode the relationship. Next one, change the angle, right? Change the angle when we talk to people. So let's begin with praise and honest appreciation. This is not about manipulation. This is about honest appreciation. So when we think about it, most of us don't get much praise or appreciation ever. Most business conversations are very straightforward. Where's that report? What's happening on that project? When do we get paid by the client? And so that's how we bridge into conversations with people. Let's change the angle. Let's come at it from a different approach. Let's change our communication. For example, I might want to know from Taro, when are we going to get paid by the client? I can just say, Taro, when are we getting paid by the client? And he'll give me the information. But that's all I've got. I've just got information. I'm not building the relationship. Instead, I could say, Taro, you gave an excellent summary in the meeting the other day. I really appreciate that. Helped me a lot to put the minutes together. Thank you for that. Now, Taro knows that's true because he did give a summary in the meeting. And when I praise his work in giving that summary, he feels good. He feels good about himself and he feels good about me. And then I can bridge into, by the way, when are we getting paid by the client? And he'll tell me the date. So now I have the information and I've started to build a better relationship with Taro. So next one is arousal in the other person, an eager want. We're all consumed by what we want, what's important to us. So if you turn up to someone else and you start talking to them about what you want, they don't care. They're not particularly interested in what you want. They're interested in what they want. So here's where we get the breakdown. So let's change the angle. Let's switch that angle a little bit. So for example, say I want someone to help me to put a report together for the client. I could just go up and say, can you help me? I want to put together a report for the client. I want to put together a report for the client. I want, and they're not interested. Change the angle. I could say, you know ABC company? We've been trying to land them as a client for a long time. All the top salespeople have been unsuccessful. I've noticed you're doing some really excellent work on industry trends. Could we work together? Because I think the big bosses are really going to appreciate you and your research when you and I land this big client. And tomorrow, there's a window of opportunity. If we can get in front of the client tomorrow with what you've done and what I've got, I think we can bring this client in and everyone is going to be so impressed. So now I'm talking about what's in it for my colleague. Change the game, change the angle, right? So this is where we want to get that enthusiasm behind the work. We want them to be wanting to do it from their side. Become genuinely interested in other people. Well, mostly we're interested in ourselves. That's fine. But there's a lot of untapped opportunity for transforming relationships by becoming interested in other people. I was at an offsite in Brisbane, my hometown in Australia, and we're all sitting out under this big tree. And we're in pairs, they paired us up, and so we interview each other, and then we introduce our colleague to the rest of the team. And then they do the same for us. So I'm sitting there, listening to all these introductions. I was amazed, I was astounded. People that I'd been sitting next to, just meters away, 10 hours a day. I had no idea. I had no idea what they were doing. I had no idea how interesting they were. What happened after that? We all bonded tremendously as a team because we knew more about each other. We shared more information. Here's the key. Change the angle. Find out about other people. Be genuinely interested in them. And then the bonds to make the relationship stronger will become easier to create. Smile. Well, this is ridiculous. Smile. It's too straightforward. What's he talking about? Well, think about it. How many times do people come to you with a big smile on their face as a first impression in the day? I was giving a talk in Kobe. It was in Japanese. It was an audience of 100 salespeople, and they were selling study tours overseas. I was promoting Australia as a study destination to Japanese students and their parents. And I'm giving this talk, and I'm storing about halfway down on the left, there's one gentleman, big scowl on his face. Big scowl. He's not buying what I'm selling at all. I finished the talk. He jumps up out of the seat, comes straight towards me. I thought he was going to hit me. He's shaking my hand. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Oh, that was great. And I'm thinking to myself, that's fantastic. That's great. But it would have been better if you'd told your face that you are happy. And here's the point. We come with a face to people. We're trying to build a relationship. We're trying to transform a relationship. What's on that face? Let's put a big smile on it. It'll change the angle. So this is what we want. Big smiles when we're dealing with each other. So let's talk in terms of the other person's interest. Well, self-interest obviously is a big driver for all of us. And we know what we want. We're interested in something happening. I might want Michko to join my project team. And I say to Michko, hey, Michko, can you join our project team, please? And Michko is thinking, I'm not interested. I've got lots on already. Other projects I'm working on. I don't have the time. No, thank you. Well, how can I appeal to Michko's interest? I change the angle. I change my conversation. I change my approach. I say to Michko instead, Michko, you are a very creative person. I see that. I don't think the big bosses here really appreciate how creative you are. We'd love to have your creativity in our team. We're working on this project. I think this will provide a tremendous platform for you to be recognized by the big bosses for your creative ability. Will you join us? I've changed the angle. She sees something in it for her. It's not all about what I want, my interests. So these are simple ideas. And if we think about it, Gandhi gave us the insight. Start with ourselves. Don't expect everyone else to change. We change first. Isaac Newton gave us the physics, Newtonian physics. Change the angle. Change the angle of approach and you'll get a different reaction. We can do that. And Dale Carnegie has left us with 30 human relations principles, which are still as potent and robust as they were when he created them 100 years ago, and we need them today. So if we can change ourselves first, change our angle of approach, alter our communication style, work on human relations principles, we will be able to change our interaction with others, and we will be able to live longer and happier lives because we'll be able to transform our relationships and make them much better. Thank you very much.